Is Disney World's Lightning Lane Premier Pass worth up to $449 a day? Not always, but there are 7 specific times when it actually makes perfect sense, and I'm going to break them down for you. Hi, I'm Shannon from WDW and today I wanted to talk about the Lightning Lane Premier Pass. Like a lot of things that Disney announces when they first come out, I winced at the price because I'm like, who is going to pay for that? And then, like a lot of things in life, I learned there's nuance to it, and that a lot of times it does make perfect sense. And so I wanted to talk about that today because while the price of the Premier Pass is not of interest to a lot of people, there are specific cases where it does make sense. So I wanted to bring that to you and allow you to consider it maybe for your own trip. Let's start with the basics in case you don't know how it works. The Lightning Lane Premier Pass started on October 30th, 2024, and it's an option that allows you to pay a premium price to enter the Lightning Lanes at rides without the need to book the Lightning Lanes. When you have Premier Pass, you can only use it in one park, and you must have a park ticket for that day, and you cannot park hop. You can do each Lightning Lane ride once. So if you have visions of going on Guardians of the Galaxy over and over and over again, it's not going to happen. You can do things once. It is available to anybody, whether you are on site or off site. It does come with PhotoPass downloads, so you'll at least get your PhotoPass pictures of the day included. The pricing varies depending on the park and the date of your visit. It's variable, just like a lot of things like park tickets and the regular Lightning Lane system. For example, at Animal Kingdom, you can expect to pay usually in the range of $129 to $199 plus tax per person. At Epcot, you can expect to pay $169 to $249. At Hollywood Studios, you will see prices of around $269 to $349. And finally, as you might expect it, Magic Kingdom is the most expensive, with prices of $329 to $449. So obviously not cheap. It can be purchased whenever your normal Lightning Lane window opens up. So if you're an on-site guest, that is 7 days before your check-in day. And if you're an off-site guest, it is 3 days before the start of your tickets. So now that we have the basics down, let's talk about the 7 times that it makes sense that we have come across. And if you have more to add to the list, please add it in the comments below. Number 1, people who just don't want to mess with the Lightning Lane system. The Lightning Lane system is not easy to understand. It is the number 1 thing people ask us about, and it's very confusing. And a lot of people just don't want that level of difficulty on their trips, so they are willing to throw money at the problem. Let me just buy the Premier Pass, and then I can go on all these rides without having to book anything, without having to have, a big strategy or anything. Let me just buy it. So that group really likes Premier Pass because it's a lot less planning. Number 2, anytime you don't want to crisscross a park. So one of the downsides of Lightning Lanes is that you often do end up crisscrossing because you've got a Lightning Lane on this side of the park. Oh, we've got to tap into the next one. It is across the park. And so this allows you to go at your own pace with your own path without having to crisscross. We have seen this especially be useful at Epcot because Epcot is so big. And the 2 most popular rides at Epcot are on opposite ends of the park. So a lot of people especially enjoy it for Epcot because they can go on a ride, meander the World Showcase, go on another ride, etc. Number 3, people with limited park time. So if you've only got a few hours in a park, like for instance, before a cruise, maybe you want to stop by a park, it might make sense to get Premier Pass and then just dip in and do all of the rides in a row without having to worry about booking the Lightning Lanes because there's limits to how much you can do with the regular Lightning Lane system. Next up, people who have difficulty coordinating with other people's Lightning Lanes. For example, let's say you have a family or a friend group, and some people are staying off-site and some people are staying on-site. The on-site people might book their Lightning Lane 7 days out, and then when it's time for the off-site people to book, it's kind of hard to coordinate it. And so maybe the off-site person purchases Premier Pass, and then they can just go on the ride to everybody else without having to worry about booking. Another example of this is if you have a travel group and somebody is arriving later than everybody else. Let's say you're all staying on site, but one person's arriving later, their Lightning Lane booking window is going to be later, and maybe that person can buy Premier Pass and then join everybody else who already booked their Lightning Lanes. Next up, A group that might like Premier Pass is a small travel group that wants a VIP experience, but they're having a hard time justifying a full VIP tour. So VIP tours have lots of perks and they are pricey. They allow up to 10 people, minimum of 7 hours. And when you have a small group, it becomes really difficult to justify it. And so getting the Premier Pass allows you to have a VIP experience without having to book the tour guide. The next group is people who need the benefits of the DAS system, but they can't qualify. So the DAS system at Disney World was revamped in the last year or two, and it has become harder for people to get it. People that have gotten it for years and now they can't get it. And these are people that have a hard time waiting in lines for various reasons. And Disney has gotten quite strict on who they will allow to do this because they're trying to cut down on cheating. And I think that they have overcorrected because people that genuinely need it are not able to get it now. So one way to get around that, and it's not cheap, but it will work, is to buy the Premier Pass because it will allow you to go through all the lightning lanes without having to wait in the regular standby line. And the last group is guests who want a flexible schedule to arrive whenever they want and do the rides at their own pace. So one thing about touring plans and booking your own lightning lanes is that you kind of have to know when you're going to arrive and when to book the lightning lanes. But if you want to arrive late, if you don't know what your schedule is going to be, then the Premier Pass gives you a lot of flexibility to do whatever you want. So those are the 7 groups, but I do have a few tips for people that are considering it. Number one, if you have enough people, it might actually make sense to do a VIP tour instead, which will allow you to do multiple parks instead of just one park. And it will give you things like VIP fireworks viewing. So the small groups might benefit from Premier Pass, but larger groups actually might find it advantageous to do a VIP tour. You'll have to do the math on that because there are some additional perks and flexibility with a VIP tour guide. Tip number 2 is that after hours events are an option that is less expensive and will still allow you to ride rides without having to book lightning lanes. And these events provide treats and exclusive entertainment in the form of like exclusive character meets and things like that. We are huge fans of the after hours events. They are only offered during certain times of year and they are at night. So, there's pros and cons of doing it, but it is a way to go through the park and go on the rides without having to worry about booking lightning lanes. And it's a lot less expensive than booking the Premier Pass. Another tip is they do often sell out. So just like you would with regular lightning lanes, make sure that you jump on as soon as your window opens up and snag it. As expensive as it is, people are willing to pay it, which is why the price can continue to go up. So if you're interested, make sure that you buy it as soon as you can so that you don't miss your window. And lastly, if you do book the Premier Pass, the Today's Plan section of My Disney Experience will allow you to keep track of which rides you've done and what is still available. So if you're like, how many more rides can I do or which ones have I done, they are listed there for you. All right, I hope that is helpful. If you have other situations where you think Premier Pass makes sense or other tips for maximizing, I would love to hear those in the comments. Thanks for joining.